The planet one day once again got a glimmer of Kim Jong-un's suitable fleeing bodyguards as they accompanied his convoy in Singapore. But they're more than rather than fair a chunk of sight, since while it comes to the lead's safety, Polar Korea foliage completely anything to opportunity. Analysis. Michael Dement explains more than on the mystery team of men. While in Polar Korea, Mr. Kim's shut bodyguard has 3 various channel how encircle him. Down there's a updated release of the on-screen in Singapore and all eyes are on the men in black suits. The bodyguards fleeing near Mr. Kim's limo and such who go in shut vicinity to him are portion of thing named Center Side Office Space Number 6, or officially, he's named as the Major Office Space of Adjutants. They shape the instant link about Mr. Kim and are choose of Korean human beings as troop, KPA, recruitment carrying their domestic facility military service to. Criteria for choice involve a altitude demand, they requirement to be about the identical altitude as the high lead, and must not include any visible impairments. They must show specific accomplishments or a top ability for skills such as marksmanship, shooting a gun, and military arts. A remind how the bodyguards who run near Kim Jong-un's car and act as a humane panel are brush selected for their suitability, marksmanship, military arts skills and though looks. See out for them above the following few days. Eventually, a bodyguard is exposed to a strict backdrop inquiry in that his or her household, departure behind 2 generations, is vetted. Lot staff of the Major Office Space of Adjutants are associated to the Kim household, or to some elitists' Polar Korean families. One day they are recognized to be bodyguards, refusal, the job propose is not very and stock option, they are exposed to an intense learning program. Bodyguards are learned in a way such to the KPA's specific operative forces. The includes learning in the use of handguns, subterfuge techniques and a kind of military arts. Bodyguard trainees expose natural stamina challenges, behavioral air conditioning and constructively strict drills. The bodyguards shape a circle about him in the protection periphery, possessing a 360 extent type of both of the human beings close him and the position. Walk, galloping front, or in preliminary of Mr. Kim are among 3 to 5 bodyguards consisting the CEO of the Major Office Space of Adjutants. Near him are among 4 persons to 6 bodyguards, in 2 to 3 on his order and leftward. Earning up the back are in further 4 persons to 5 bodyguards. In a mark of their force in the mode, they are several of the just Polar Korean countrymen allowed to conduct laden gun following to their nation's lead, normally a semi-automatic gun and a behind-up gun. In spite transport gun, the bodyguard's major defense for Mr. Kim are their skills of surveillance, of human beings close the lead and the space, and neutralizing any perceivable risk in their hands and bodies. While Kim Jong-il was live, down there was a relation of 1 bodyguard to 2 of the elder officials concomitant him. Kim Jong-un's bodyguards, in difference to his dad, are less in quantity and include a less than intrusive present. Bodyguards are normally clad in West-style suits and bonds, as we see in Singapore, or the Zhongshan suits of side officials. Mr. Kim's chauffeurs ever carry underwear or skin gloves to knob the steering system tire. They as well use wireless communication in earpieces. Yet, their initial communicating methods are clearly old high school. They carry particular badges and pins on their clothes for a taking into account occasion to set their identity, and use a episode of speak passwords and coding phrases. The Major Office Space of Adjutants has an alleged 200 to 300 staff, of whom above part are bodyguards, and the remnant are drivers and engineering personnel. Several of the lead's bodyguards include length careers, largest just job in how power for 10 year. The Guardsman Team, GC, comprises the other and tertiary channel of safety about Mr. Kim. Because the Major Office Space of Adjutants protects the high lead oneself, the GC is mostly accountable for providing the natural space of where he happens to be, if he's his office space buildings, individual residences or locations he visits within the country or external Polar Korea. In supplement to how, the GC fulfills a quantity of rear or engineering functions to supporting the lead in his work. Guardsman team staff expose a such choice and checking trial as Mr. Kim's bodyguards in the major office space of adjutants. In reality, largest bodyguards turn out of the last division in the GC. Latter surveillance and accountability on Mr. Kim's trip to Singapore marked how 3 planes arriving to the town country of Pyongyang. Guardsman team staff were on executive board at Lo 2 of these planes. These men and female are implicated in a various quantity of supporting missions for Mr. Kim. They will work and support the safe phone channel how the lead will utilize, as so as ensure him in everything computers he uses and IT safety require. In supplement to how, they include everything drink, foods, and cigarettes how Mr. Kim will wish for his period in Singapore, and will check any meal or sip up it is serviced to him. It as well has a care division wherever his private physicians and care personnel job, and at Lo 2 of these human beings are in him in Singapore. In regulation of Mr. Kim's private safety, the GC's number 2 division forms 2 of the 3 external channel of safety about him, and they usually attention on wherever Mr. Kim plant, corset or visits. The GC establishes one link once external of the bodyguard team about him, accompanied by a tertiary external link close any roads, fences, or some infrastructure facilities during a part me of any position. If one were to pop downward to the hall of the St. Regis Inn wherever he is stay in Singapore, one would largest surely face them. The 3-tier private safety pattern is practically inaudible of for any some planet lead. And time the fleeing bodyguards are a remarkable picture. It is the further and not once apparent layers of safety future out how are the largest subtle and excess in the lengths they will go to provide the conservation of the Kim Tang dynasty.